You're about to enjoy a Cloudcast original. Local stories, local storytellers, local brands.
Have you ever felt that you as a woman may not appear to measure up when you see incredible women in strong roles? You may be surprised when hearing from women in these positions and how we all share many of the same challenges. Thank you for joining us for the SheEO Lead-In podcast with Rebecca Jones as we share the journeys of women.
Hello, I'm Rebecca Jones, your host of SheEO. We are on an exploration together to discover more about the personal journeys of incredible women in both career and life. We all have paths to share that sometimes take incredible turns, deep resilience, and courage to navigate. My hopes are that the challenges shared here encourage women to take leaps of faith and growth when a journey feels too difficult or unachievable. There is great strength deep within each one of us. These stories are meant to share the ways strong women have taken their dreams to strive and thrive to new heights despite their sometimes rocky paths and found a way to lead in. So today we are here with Gwen Bates she's the director of Fashion Week San Diego. So Gwen, welcome, and thank you so much for joining us today.
Awesome. Well, thank you for having me. Super excited to be here.
Well, so I'm curious, what does a day look like in your life?
So a day in the life of a director, especially a Fashion Week director, it varies. It depends on the season. So we are a different Fashion Week. We're not just 1 week. We are all year of programs, events, and just really selling our designers and connecting our community. So right now we are at a pre-production phase for our biggest show of the year. So right now my day looks like networking. It looks like, selling tickets, our social media. We're ramping that up to get the word out a little bit more. It's a lot of, just the day-to-day, the phone calls, the emails, not too different from a typical day in the life of somebody who has a lot on their plate as a director. But we also have, designers that are clients that we deal with. So we're making sure collections are finished, that everybody's showing up, the mail is here on time. And we do have designers that are overseas in the Philippines. So making sure those collections are coming in before next week so that we have them in time for the show, making sure our call lists are done, organizing all of our people. So it's just a lot of coordination at this point, and then bringing in the audience too.
Yeah. So Fashion Week, San Diego Fashion Week is when?
So we are operating our main event on October 2nd. It's going to be from 6 to 9. So what's really exciting is that we sold out. So that's great. But there are still people that want to watch the show, and we want people to have the opportunity to watch the show. So what we're doing this week is we're offering a virtual ticket. It's called Sharing is Caring. So when you buy one, you can share one with someone so that you guys can still enjoy the show. We will have that aspect. And the following day is our trunk show on October 3rd from 10 to 2. And that's where you can shop the designer collections and meet your designers, get fitted if you want some couture, custom clothing, and just support our local economy here in the fashion industry.
That's wonderful. So tell us a little bit about who Gwen is. And do you have like a story maybe from your childhood that you think is kind of fun that you'd like to share with us?
So I guess I have a story of entrepreneurship. Because a lot of times I get the question, were you always into fashion? And, I wasn't. It wasn't until I was an adult I was into fashion. But my whole life, since I was a kid, I've been an entrepreneur. So I had that mindset. I would always try and make perfume or something to sell. When I was in 7th grade, that's when I actually found a love for it because I started to make money. And I used to go to Smart and Final and buy the little sugarcane sticks and sell them under the table in class, like English class, for $0.25. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm making like $8 and I only spent $4. So, I started doing that like over and over until the teacher said, you can't sell on campus. But just from there, it turned into other things. And then I became a drop shipper with eBay. And then eventually I started my own jewelry line, which is GFash. And it's a red carpet accessory line. And so that's when I paired the entrepreneurship with the fashion. And there's a whole big story in that. And, that was born, the whole red carpet accessories, because I was a young mom in my 20s, and my husband's a homebody, so we never had the opportunity to go anywhere glamorous. So every time that we did go out, I made sure I was like, one of the women off of Housewives of Atlanta or Orange County. So I was just making sure nobody had on anything that I had on. So I started to create those type of pieces. And then people would ask me, hey, where did you get that? Where did you get that? And then that's how that kind of got born. And then I stepped on the scene with Fashion Week San Diego doing my first appearance, launching to the world that this is who G-Fash is. And from there, I went to Italy for 3 years, and I worked in production on the fashion scene. I couldn't legally run my business there on the visa I was there on. But from there, I came back and took over with Fashion Week San Diego. So that's kind of like a short story, but I have a lot more details, but I'm not going to go there because it'll take up too much time.
I love it. I love that story. I love that you were like, well, this happens to be my life. I think that's awesome. So tell me, based on who you are, what is one word that best describes you?
I would say patient. Patient. Well, there's two. So patient and kind. I feel like that kind of goes hand in hand. I do know that I was a recipient of the Kind Award from the Kind Award Company. And so I got this big basket. So I was like, I guess I really am kind. My kids would say opposite, but that would be two words. I would say patient and kind because I do have a lot of patience. And I definitely like to wait. Well, I like to wait things out. I like for people to, like, a lot of people don't have a lot of patience. A lot of people tell me, like, oh my gosh, like, if this were me, like, I wouldn't be doing this. Like, you know what I mean? So I would say I have a lot of patience.
Well, your kids may not say it now, but I guarantee that as they get older, they will appreciate that about you, and they'll probably see that in you. It's just something that kids don't see. Honestly, they don't see all of our good qualities right? While they're young. So how long have you been then in your career? It sounds like most of your life, pretty much. But in your current career and your current position at San Diego Fashion Week. Or Fashion Week San Diego, I should say.
Well, thank you. Yeah. You caught that. So I've been the founder of Fashion Week founder of G-Fash since 2007. The founder of Fashion Week San Diego was Allison Andrews, and she started that 2007 as well. So G-Fash came on the scene in 2019 as a new owner and operator of Fashion Week San Diego for the last 2 years. So to say the least, it's been very exciting to come on at the end of 2019.
Right.
And then go right into COVID and, still be in this really phase of it's really hazy right now. But we're just happy. I'm just happy that things are progressing and people want to get back out and socializing. And we do have that option for people who want to stay at home to, be able to now navigate the virtual space, which is a space that Fashion Week San Diego was never in before. So it's good that we've kind of become many experts in our field just regarding bringing the show online.
Well, and that's, part of COVID. It's been very flexible and you just kind of roll with it. And, a lot of people haven't been able to navigate it.
Yeah.
But some people have just really smashed it. So like yourself, okay, we've got a challenge. I'm going to figure out how to overcome that. And now we're going to have it on virtual. And you're having it this year at I think it's an indoor-outdoor venue, yes?
Yes. So this year we are at Euphoric Distillery and Event Space. They are known for their glowing vodka, which is really cool. They have a really cool copper distillery right in the middle of the venue. So, and it's a really strategic partnership too. They are going to be doing a hosted bar for us, which is great for all of our VIPs. Because who doesn't like fashion with, some really cool drinks? It's going to be a really good time. And like I mentioned, we did sell out the show. It's a smaller space, but it's a very, very unique space.
Nice. So how do you measure success in all of this? And I mean, it's got to look different, I think, now than it probably did in 2018 or 19.
Well, it does. And so I think... Okay, so measuring success for me on my business side of things would be just satisfactory of the clients who we have, who we serve. We serve our community. So we do have community sponsors and we do have our designers. So if I'm looking at 2020 that was a rough year for a lot of people involved. So to be able to just pivot and shift gears the way that we did and bring things virtual and make sure that they still got the full package of being with the Fashion Week and that professional platform and all the additional services in some way or another, it's just the testimonials and the feedback, which makes me feel like it was successful. And so this year we could actually do it again, but in a hybrid form. So things have kind of loosened up. But that's the way I'm measuring it. It's just the feedback that I do get from our community sponsors, especially during such a rough time in history, especially for the fashion industry, because we were virtually closed down on like all levels. So I would say it would just be measuring their satisfactory with, everything that's going on. And I think what validates it is that, they end up coming back the next year. So,
right.
Yeah.
Well, I'm hoping that we'll have a shift in fashion so that you can wear yoga pants as part of a suit, because I think many of us are dealing with that extra COVID weight. I never really thought about what COVID did to fashion and all of the dresses and the events that people would normally go to that they no longer are going to need. I didn't even think about the impact that would actually create. It's probably fairly significant.
Oh, it is. And, we're seeing like emerging designers just in athleisure wear. I feel like we're still all on Zoom like all the time. And so it's nice to just be able to throw on stretch pants and a nice shirt and just psych everyone out. But then also I feel like people are moving, like I feel like that was a season, but we're moving back into people wanting to look good when they go out too. So people want to put on high heels now, not just the, Puma slides and, the white t-shirt. But what we're seeing with our audience is, when we did our first in-person event in April this year. And what we saw is people are dressing up over the top. So, not only do they want to dress up, they want to just go all out. So,
yeah, definitely.
So I feel like there's a wave coming of people who are just like, I want to get out the house and I want to dress up. Like, I need an excuse to dress up. And so that's partially like 75% of our audience.
Well, the truth is fashion is a big part of our lives.
And
it feels good when you're wearing something beautiful. And I think it really changes your perspective of, you could go into a bad situation if you're just killing it in this amazing suit. You're just like, oh, well, it doesn't matter. It's okay. I can deal with this. And I am a big high heel person because I'm so short. I love to wear high heels. I love shoes. I just love how beautiful they can make your feet look. And you have to have a pedicure, of course. But I love the way it actually can change people's perspective of who they are and build confidence in us.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like what you wear, it's very intentional. And, I usually tell people, because I do like a little bit of styling on the side, I tell people, wear how you're feeling. If you're not feeling confident or, sexy, don't wear that. Wear something that's going to make you feel good about your day. If it's athleisure wear, sometimes I feel my most confident in like my Puma jumpsuit with like my Guess shoes. And, and sometimes I feel very confident in other things like my Calvin Klein blazer or slacks. But I just tell people, yeah, it does change how you feel. And it changes the trajectory of your attitude in your day sometimes. So,
well, now that we're having this conversation, I think there is a sense of, and I know I feel it sometimes because I do have some COVID weight. Being confident and feeling good in what you're wearing doesn't necessarily mean you have to be your perfect body weight, because our bodies are all very, very different, and our actual body types are very different. You could be very voluptuous and curvy, or you could be stick thin, but really all bodies can be beautiful, and you can be confident in what you're wearing. And fashion doesn't always have to be, I know when I think about designer clothes, I think a lot of times, I used to, maybe not so much now. It used to be all about stick thin, has to be this model looking kind of ballerina body, but truly in looking good, it doesn't have to be that. You actually can wear things that will accentuate the best parts of your body and look still amazing. So I think that and the confidence that builds. Do you have any thoughts on that? Because we were talking a little bit about sizes and all of that at Fashion Week.
Yeah, no, you are absolutely right. Honestly, something that I really like that's going on in social media and the trend is that you have a lot of the different body shapes, and they're telling you how to dress for your body shape. And you can still, some people who are, in the plus sizes, they can wear crop tops better than somebody who's not plus size because they know their body shape. And that's one thing about Fashion Week San Diego is that we have like one of the most diversified platforms. We have the plus models, and we have the curvy twos. We have the, slender twos. And so we're all about the body positivity. And that's one thing that's really big to us here. And that's something that the founder cultivated that I just love to build upon. And you're absolutely right. It doesn't matter your shape. It just matters, how you dress yourself. And sometimes you can use like a little help. Like I can use a little help from like a stylist, like, what's good for me. But, once you get it down to a science, I mean, you can wear anything and just rock it.
Right. And again, all body types can look great. And you're not going to wear, if you have a curvy body, you're not going to wear something someone that, a very slender body has, and vice versa, because it's not going to look the same. But there's definitely clothing for all of us, and to make us feel confident and all of that. So as a female leader, what has been one of the most significant barriers that you have actually seen?
Just in general, the fashion industry. So I would say, I'm an African-American woman, obviously. But one barrier outside of access to capital, it's always the underrepresentation. So one thing about the fashion industry, just as a designer on that level, we make up 3%. Of the overall industry, it's 10%. And that's from those who are working in retail, tailors, designers, just in general, it's 10. And I feel like that number actually crept up in the last 10 years. But, it's always going to the meetings and, there's no other representation. And so it's just always that similar cycle. I'm not sure if it's necessarily changing that much, but I feel like after last year, there has been efforts to change that. Even with the CFDA, they've actually have started their own little subcategory of just diversity of Hispanic and brown and Black efforts and these designers to get them into Macy's and doing in-store collections and designing. So just giving them the platform. So I feel like that is slowly starting to change. And, it may not be overnight, but it may be, just a battle to get that representation out there and boost that percentage.
Well, I think part of that is mentoring too, and getting into the communities where people might not think about a career in what you're doing,
You're
and
right.
to cultivate those, finding the passion in people, because I'm sure your family probably never said to you, "Yeah, what do you think about jewelry design?" I mean, it's something, having your face out there, having mentorship ability. I think that is the way that you really actually get to have other people think about, oh, maybe that's something that I'd be interested in, and trying new things. And every single time I talk to youth in any platform, Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, teenagers at high schools, I always say, try things in your life that you might not be comfortable with, that might be slightly interesting to you, because you might find something that you're so passionate about. And obviously I can tell you're very passionate about what you do. And really, I think, though, helping other people find that passion within themselves to say, hey, you know what? I like to look good. And, being at home, now with the pandemic and everything, people are wanting to get out. There's this tremendous sense of wanting to get out, wanting to look our best, wanting to, feel free. I think that is, another part of it too. So, anytime you can get out and speak to a group of young people, I think would be a huge success for you.
Well, I'm happy you said that because that's very true. It's the mentorship as well. And so last year we did implement a program called the Diversity Designer and Cultural Program.
Love it.
And so that is specifically just for that. It hits all of the categories that the SBA deems socially impacted. And so that's the Native Americans, African Americans, some Latino, Asian, Pacific Islanders. And so our goal with that program is to actually find that talent in underserved communities and actually pull them onto a platform that's professional and actually give them, the training and also all the business packages to help them be successful in the industry and give them that opportunity to really be a part of something that's on a professional level as a fashion week and not just a fashion pop-up event.
Right.
So yeah, I feel like that is actually key because a lot of people don't know that it's in there. And then there's also people in those areas who don't have the opportunity, but they have the talent and they just need to be seen.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And someone to encourage them.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. You should be at Boys and Girls Clubs and all of these in these communities. You know, my city, I work for the city of San Marcos. My city has about 40% of my population as Hispanic. I would love for you to, reach out to the girls in my community and say, hey, this is what I'm doing. Maybe there's something that you want to do that's like this. I just love, I really do. I think speaking to our young people in particular about what you're doing, how you've impacted and how you've been successful is a very important part of sharing who you are and how you've gotten to where you are.
You're right. And, another initiative that we just launched this year was the Hot Steam Youth Program. So that program allows the youth. This year, we only did a pilot. So next year, we'll open it up to more. And now that you're saying San Marcos is, hey, we're here, we're doing a show here. I feel like that should be, the students that we do reach out to as well. But what it is we're gathering the youth together to get their hands wet in fashion to see, what areas that they are interested in before, they graduate high school and dump a ton of money into going to a college and they just don't know if this is for them. But the goal of it is fashion sustainability. So we want our young future fashion leaders to help solve the problems of sustainability in the fashion industry because fast fashion is a thing. There's a new collection every single day from millions of designers. And so we just want their take on it and we want them to be, in the fashion world before, they're actually over 18 and get a little bit busy. So that is something that's just really cool that we did just launch. And I feel like that would be so up our alley to hang out with San Marcos, right?
Definitely. Yeah, definitely. So what are some lessons that you've learned that young women leaders could apply to their life?
Young women leaders, I would say just don't lose your heart because, in business, it could be pretty brutal. There's a lot of different personalities. One thing I would say is to be kind. And, being kind is not a weakness. It's a strength. I mean, it teaches you restraint. It teaches you a lot of things. And, patient comes along with being kind, too. And so I would just say, no matter what you do in your personal life, your business life, your relationships, boyfriend, girlfriend, just remember to, keep that element of who you are, of just kindness, because kindness in our industry actually goes pretty far. And so I'm sure it does with other industries, but definitely in fashion, because a lot of times it's cutthroat. And, there's a lot of people that step over people to get to places. But when you're kind, people actually remember how they were treated.
Well, I'm glad that you said that because I think in this world now today, it's become even more vital for us to be kind because we certainly aren't going to have one group of people over the next not working together and everyone doing their own thing. We have to be unified. And you can't do that without kindness and patience. And then also a certain amount of love for other people and wanting good things for them, right? I love that you are. I honestly, that's so unexpected to hear that. Not from you in particular, because I can see that in you, but just in that industry, you think about it as very cutthroat. And I'm glad that you haven't lost that. And stayed true to who you actually are, because I can see that about you.
Oh, thank you.
So the journey, did it choose you? I feel like it probably did. And why would you say that maybe it did choose you?
I feel like you're right. So I was in Italy. The founder and I were talking. And so I knew that Fashion Week San Diego went on a hiatus. And so we were talking back and forth throughout the year. And by the time I came back, it was just kind of a sealed deal. I feel like it kind of chose me, but then again, I feel like I take those risks. I mean, I'm an entrepreneur, and sometimes I feel like I'm a little crazy. Because, I've been called that, why would you do this during the middle of a COVID? But I feel like that's just the journey of being an entrepreneur. You have to take risks. And I feel like that's kind of how it kind of chose me. And then again, I am 5% of the natives to San Diego. So San Diego has my heart. So I do live here. So that was kind of a no-brainer, So, But I feel like, yeah, that would be it.
Well, it's risk and sacrifice, right? I mean, you
It
have to
is.
sacrifice a lot. So, tell us a little bit about, do you have kids and how do you balance everything? And just
I
in your life?
do. So I do have older kids, but I do know with older kids, you still have to give them attention. It doesn't matter how old they are, especially we're all girl house. So I feel like it never ends. But my work-life balance would be I set a schedule, but I feel like there's no wrong or right answer anymore. I feel like it's more integration for me. I feel like my 15-year-old, sometimes she needs a lot of attention, sometimes she doesn't. And so I think it's just a balancing act of do my children or my husband or my family need any time or just a sacrifice? You know, my mom takes care of a 93-year-old. And so sometimes I need to put down the computer. Do you need to go do what you need to do? You know, so it's sacrifice and it's just integrating my work life into it. I do have like a mobile office sometimes. I'm working in my car. So until I get to the office, you know, in between dropping, you know, the kids off because one of them doesn't drive and the other one's still technically a student driver with the license, if that makes sense. She likes to be Ubered around. So, you know, it's just that whole integration of integrating my life with my work, which is I don't think there's any like balance like 100%, but it works for me. So I would say it's just whatever works for anybody.
Well, and that's,
Yeah.
that's the thing I think we've learned during the pandemic is there needs to be a lot of flexibility in life because we never know what's going to come at us. And I tell people, well, oftentimes I don't know what I'm doing for my entire day. I feel like, oh, I might have a couple of hours, free. It never works out that way because of course, you have to be flexible. Things come up, things are thrown at you, and really being resilient is something I think we've learned a lot about ourselves during this time of, being home, having to Zoom all the time and, and then starting to go back into, getting vaccinated, going back into public and, trying to, balance everything with Zooming. Some people still feel more comfortable Zooming. Some like to meet in person. So having all of that and figuring it all out, right? It's just a daily navigation.
You're right. You're right. And it's definitely in the industry space too of events, just navigating that whole aspect of in person, how many people, capacity, what are the rules, the regulations are in place. So yeah, it's a lot. I feel like we've been thrown like a curveball.
Every day. Every day.
Right?
Every day. A new
We just have to deal with it and make the best decisions we can.
Right. So what do they think? What do your daughters think of mom doing her job the way she does?
What's funny, they really don't think about it often.
Oh, I bet they do. They're maybe not sharing.
Well, it's so my oldest is actually Instagram model and she's a roller skater. But, I think it's the mom thing because I'm doing it. It's not that cool. But if I were someone else, like maybe you, they'd be like flocking to you. So,
well, honestly, that's how my kids are. It's the same. So. I've been doing this job for 15 years. So I have a 25-year-old and a 21-year-old. So they look at me like, oh, that's just mom. And then some of their friends are like, oh my gosh, your mom. I can't believe she's doing that job. And they're like, what? So I guess maybe that's, it is. I think though at some point in time, they'll probably appreciate it a little bit more as they get older and they'll say, hey, that was cool. My mom was directing that whole Fashion Week San Diego. And look and she designs jewelry and look how impacting she was on how people feel about themselves, right? Well, because fashion is such a big part of who we are.
It is.
It really
it definitely is. And, and that is my hope that they do see that because, I do have a house full of women, little women. And, and I want them to work hard and I want them to know that, they can do anything that they want to do. And I feel like, if any one of my kids really understands that, it's the youngest because she is an entrepreneur in the making. And so I know she'll really go far in this field. And she may be the one that just catches this ball and just takes the torch a little bit, like a lot further. But I do want all my kids to work hard. And, and I try and show them that work ethic too. And so does their dad. So it's just, you just hope that soon they can see those things and not, 50 years from now.
Well, the work ethic, I think, is so important. I would almost say that's probably one of the most important things about being an entrepreneur, about being, and honestly, I hate to say it like this, but as a woman, I feel like sometimes we have to work a little bit harder than men just because we are breaking stereotypes. And, I don't know if you know this, but I was actually the first woman ever elected as mayor in my city.
Oh my gosh.
In 2018. How? But when you look at this, we are breaking stereotypes, I think, daily. And I think the more we talk about them, we talk more about the barriers, but we also show our work ethic. I would say that not many people can outwork me. I work so hard because I'm passionate about what I'm doing. I want to make people's lives better. You want to make people's lives better. You're coming from a totally different standpoint than me because you're actually at the root of who we are, which no one can leave their house without clothing on, right?
Exactly.
and I mean, I remember when I was a kid, my dad would say, "Oh, you don't need anything nice. You could just wear a potato sack and it would be fine." I mean, I don't know if your parents ever said things like that, but for some reason, my dad used to always say that. And I go, "No, Dad, I want to wear something that makes me feel good. I want to wear something pretty." And I think men don't always understand that. But as women, it's such a big part of who we are because when you feel good about yourself, you feel unstoppable.
You're absolutely right. It's almost like a great haircut.
Yeah, for sure.
You could be on top of the world with it. But yeah, I definitely agree with that 100%.
So our next generation of women, what are we saying to them as far as this is what you should do, and this is what you should find in yourself? What would you say to them?
I would say, so, I think everything always goes back. To me, I'm a heart person. So, like, if anybody listens to me talk, I'm always like, it's your heart,
Yeah.
But, to me, it is all about your heart. I would say, guard it, and just honestly seek to always be a good person. Seek to help people more than you help yourself. Seek to always serve. I feel like when you serve people, things just turn out a lot differently in life. And, you find yourself in situations that you probably would have never been in if you weren't coming from a servant attitude. And, and especially letting it be something that's genuine and authentic, because we can all do the face where, we smile, but it's not genuine. But that it's actually in your heart to do those things. So that's just me. And that's what I actually preach to a lot of youth because I hang around a lot of youth, not because like I want to. I mean, I have teenagers. So teenagers begat teenagers. But one thing is like, I want them to always just be who they are and be kind. I feel like the world would change if, we all came, from that perspective of just being kind and being, just a person who's living from their heart, just being guided by, doing the right thing.
God,
Treating others how you want to be treated.
I literally could not agree more. I actually have this conversation often, and I say to people, well, when people are saying, "Oh, there's so much discord and people are fighting and this and that," and I say, "Okay, well, here's what I have to say about that. You have a piece in this, as I do. I try to always be positive. I always try to encourage people. I always try to love people. And that's who I am. But I think that is a really important part of leadership.
It is.
Loving people, making sure you're caring about them, making sure that you're being authentic, making sure that we are staying true to our values and who we are as a person.
Yes, 100%. And I feel like sometimes that could get lost. And that's why with the youth, I feel like if we could start pushing that message more, then maybe, they have the opportunity to change things. The industry doesn't have to be the way it is.
Right.
So
what's next in your journey?
You know what? I think it's just getting through production. So we're working around the clock at this point. Just getting everything in place to have an amazing show. We do have 10 designers, and this is the first year they've all are female. And they are all very diverse. So we're having an iconic year in itself. So last year it was COVID, which was iconic. This year it's an all-female cast. And, it wasn't by design. It just happened to happen that way. So we're doing that. We're pushing our promotions. And we definitely want to get the word out to our community to come and support, either through watching virtually or showing up to the trunk show.
That's awesome. Wonderful. Okay, well, thank you so much for being with us today, Gwen. I really, really enjoyed talking to you. and hearing all about the way you live life and the way you do business, because I think more people need to hear about that.
Well, thank you for having me. It's always great to get this message out, and especially, to get that exposure. So we, on behalf of Fashion Week San Diego, we thank you for giving us this opportunity.
Oh, thank you very much.
Now that was powerful. We hope you've been lifted and encouraged by today's inspiring voice. Always remember that life doesn't look exactly the same for each one of us. Never stop dreaming, striving, and thriving. In future episodes, we look forward to bringing you powerful stories from amazing women who learn how to lead in to challenges. Thank you for listening and being part of our community with SheEO host, Rebecca Jones.
You have been listening to a Cloudcast original. Local stories, local storytellers, local brands. Find more stories at cloudcast.us.